Hey, what's going on, everybody? So yeah, I wanted to try something a little different here. I guess as you can see, it's 1 year in to making this channel. I'm gonna do this a lot less filtered, a lot less edited together. Hopefully, no edits at all, really. But so this is my first video I ever made. As you can see there, September 2nd, 2019, and yeah, so 1 year later. I don't know if any of you watched this video. Thoughts on Blair Witch 2019 video game. Quite the title there. So I kind of wanted, I don't really know how to go about this, but you know what, I'm just gonna break it down, how, the insight into what I was thinking when I started it, and just, if none of you are interested in that, by the way, I did want to start this out by just saying thank you to everybody. I kind of wanted this to be like a more personal video. Everything I've done is just kind of talking about the games and whatnot, which is what I wanted it to be anyway. But I did want to say just a huge thanks to everybody that subscribed, up to 380 now, and for a year I think that's pretty good, actually. And so, if not interested in this kind of a breakdown of some of the videos I made and just kind of my thoughts on what I was thinking when I made them and all that, feel free to just click away. I won't take it personal at all. And so, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, so as far as this video, so I've always wanted to make a YouTube channel. That was always a dream of mine, just something that I thought would be a lot of fun. And this is actually my 4th attempt at a YouTube channel. The other 3 did not go well at all. 2 of them were about games, I think. Actually, yeah, I won't go into the whole thing, but they just didn't work out. And so a year ago, I guess, and maybe because I created the channel, the official creation of this, I think I could check that, but I'm pretty sure it was end of July of 2019. And then it took me a month to really figure out, all right, how do I make this first video and what do I do it about? Because I didn't have any real plans for it. I didn't have a vision for it at all. I had, over the years, I had an Elgato, because there was a few times when I thought about making game videos, and so I kind of had all the equipment for it, or just the way to capture game, have a game capture card basically, and I had the microphone, so it just kind of happened. And this game, I remember this game was coming out, and Man and Medan, they were both coming out on August 30th, which happens to be my birthday. And that was the goal, that was the plan. I was going to start the channel on my birthday of last year, and that clearly didn't happen. A couple days later is when I put this out, because I realized, I have to play the game first. And so this game was kind of long, not super long, but it was at least maybe it was around 6 to 8 hours, something like that. And so over that weekend, I was playing this game, trying to think about what I was gonna do, how I was gonna make a video. I've never made a video in this type of format before, and I just kind of cut the video together as I'm seeing it now, in a decent way. I think I shot it. It's in 4K. I captured it in 4K, but using the Elgato that doesn't capture 4K. So it doesn't look, there's parts of it that don't look as good, and I don't remember why I did that or how that happened, but that's been a big thing of making all these videos. Just every single one of them, I've learned a lot from it, which has been really cool. So that was basically it for this first one. I don't want to watch the whole thing, and I did decide to do 14 minutes 28 seconds for some reason. It's a really long video for a first video, but I look back on this and I'm like, it's not that bad for a first video. I'm kind of proud of it, I guess. I don't know. There's some problems with it. I would do a lot of it differently. The whole spoiler part at the end isn't super necessary. Not too many people saw it, which is what I was expecting, But, and yes, I did like my own video. I don't think that's a crime. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to my second video now. I'm not gonna go through every single video, but I do want to start with talk about some of these first ones, just to talk about what I was thinking in that first, the mindset of when I first started it. And so this was my second video. This was actually my idea of oh, this is gonna be my first video for sure. Why? Because it has anthology in the name. That was the only reasoning. And it also came out on my birthday. It was just kind of this weird thing where it seemed destined to be the first video, and it didn't end up being that. I didn't even play the full thing. I just did a demo impressions type of thing. I don't know why either. It was I was just trying to find anything I could do at the time. Starting it out, I had no real plan, had no real vision of what I wanted this to be, and so I just kind of hope for the best, and I just did whatever I could. This happened to be the idea I had for the second one. I'm not going to talk about this one too much. No one saw this at all. I'm sure like half of the views or more from me. So yeah, this one I did in a weird like live commentary way, I guess how I'm doing it now, and it doesn't flow as well as I think it does now in the game reviews, but it's a lot less edited, and you know, there's a certain charm to that, but I don't think I really knew what I was talking about then. Let's just get into it, I guess, because there's no reason to save this one for the end. I think out of all of them, this video is the most interesting. I was watching this earlier today. Let's go back to the beginning of it. I don't watch this one very often, even though it does. Okay, so getting it out of the way immediately. Yeah, this one is really the only reason I have as many subscribers as I do, which isn't a ton, but this one, as you can see, 111,000 views, and this one is like, it's nowhere even, nothing else is even cracked. I think like 300 views, and this one, of course, is quite a bit more than that. So it was really cool. I mean, there's nothing else to say except I am still shocked that this many people have seen it. It just caught the wave of when it dropped on PlayStation, the PS Plus game for the month of July, I think, and that was a really cool thing. I mean, I remember waking up in the morning, and this was something that I remember I had a dream of before. I'm like, oh, I wish, or I was like, I'd always been thinking, like, what if I woke up and like a bunch of people saw one of my videos, and then it actually happened, and that was shocking. It was really, really cool. And I watch this back every once in a while. Not as much. I've watched other videos more than this one because I like to learn from what I've done recently. This one's very early on, my third video. I don't think I can learn a lot from this, even though a lot of people saw it, a lot of people liked it. I don't. There's a lot of things again here where I was not really concise about what I was saying. I still had no idea what I was doing, honestly. Just I was saying whatever came to mind, and fortunately, I think I picked a great song for it, or background music for it. I did a decent enough editing. The real magic to why this did so well is just that there wasn't a lot of Erica reviews. I played this one like the weekend it came out, I think, and put out the review pretty early in terms of like when this was released, and it was definitely my most viewed video even before it kind of blew up from the PlayStation announcement. But at that point it had maybe a couple thousand views, and after that it was getting 20,000 a day or something for a while. Maybe not that much, maybe like 10,000 a day for a week or so. And I mean, it's just I remember I have seen this back enough to know that's just I hate what I'm like saying in it. It's not too bad up until like actually this point in the video right here, where I just start like talking about what I didn't like about it, and it's like so not important, the things I'm talking about. But I'm not going to talk about this video in particular too much, but it is the most interesting of the ones I put out. And I'm still surprised, September 6th I put that out of last year. So I put out 3 videos in the first 4 days, I guess, which is pretty good. And yeah, so I'm happy with this video. It's not like I look back on like, oh, I hate that I did this or that. It was my 3rd video. I'm proud that it's not as even worse than it could. Like it could have been so much worse. So I'm always gonna have a special place in my heart. Erica, the game, will have that place in my heart for a long time just because of that. And yeah, so I don't know if that'll ever kind of have that kind of a wave again. It'd be really cool, of course, but you can't like predict when this will happen, when this kind of thing will happen. You really can't. And so I'm gonna keep going. All right, that should be it, right? Nope, there's still more comments. The graphics do suck. But yeah, so that's all I'm gonna say about this video. That was been so far, of course, the most interesting thing of the videos I've made. And so after that, I still didn't really know what I was doing. So one thing I did want to point out here, if you were interested, so I made this one a year ago, as you can see, of course, 1 year later. And then I had a pretty good streak here. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first month, I believe. I'm gonna see what date this one was. I do really like this video as well. I think it was pretty good. So September 15th. So I had a pretty good pace going, even with the Until Dawn, I believe. Like I did these first 2 a little bit later, and then I want to see when this one was, part 3. Not too many people have seen these Until Dawn videos, which is fine. Like I'm glad. They're not great. They're in a different format. They're kind of in the did like a highlights of all the parts that I was doing a live commentary, except for this third part. So as you saw there, that was November that I did that one. So starting in September, I didn't do much in October, really. I don't think at all. Let's see when part 2 was really quick. October 9th. Okay, so I went from October 9th to November 21st for this one. And then I know this favorite games of the decade was my 10th video, but also it was done on January 1st. So that was the first video of this year and my 10th video overall. So this first 10 videos I really look at as like, I just having no idea what I was doing. This Death Stranding in-depth review, my most in-depth video I've done at that point, but also just I took so much time doing this one. So I'm glad. I'm kind of happy with how it came out. The audio is not the best, but from those first 10 videos, I can't say I learned a ton. I put some work into this favorite games of the decade thumbnail, which I'm happy about, so that I learned some from that. I just learned things here and there in those first 10 videos, but really it was like no vision, no plan, no nothing, just doing whatever I could. And I look back on those days, it's just like those were really fun times in making those videos. It wasn't that long ago, but just when you have no idea what you're really doing, but you're still trying and you're going for it, it's kind of a cool feeling. That kind of felt like the end of this first strange point of the channel, because after that, as you can see, 8 months ago, January 1st, and then I didn't do another video until this one, Lake Ridden, in February 22nd, 2020. So it's not a huge gap, still the next month, but late in February. This one was, I did not want to add that to the queue. Yes, close. And this one was maybe, it's just a couple days after. So then that was an interesting couple videos where I got motivation, I guess, and I did those really quick. But then as you can see, a huge gap. So that was February 24th to then Journey I did in May 26th. So over 3 months of a gap there. Am I thinking that's right? May 26th. So it was that's crazy to me. 3 months of just nothing. At that point, it wasn't like I was thinking of I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna do any more videos. It just kind of, the time just went by. I really got focused in school there. And I think I mentioned it in this Journey video, which is not another one that I don't really like. I'm kind of like in the middle of a lot of these videos. I watch them back just to see if I can learn anything from them. I usually actually do, so I do like going back to them, not just because I love the videos that much. But yeah, that 3 month gap, I was always thinking about, okay, what am I going to do when I come back? And it didn't really pan out as great as I thought it would. I was thinking about it, but while at the same time I was way more focused on school for some reason. Like I just, because it's a whole thing. I'm not going to go into the whole, that was just, actually it was a weird time, because also with school, that's when like the whole coronavirus thing was happening too. And I believe March, was it March? Was it that early in the year? It was sometime in that wave right there, like in those 3 months, I believe. And so I come back with Journey and Hidden Agenda. Fine, those are not the best videos in my opinion, but this is a huge chunk of videos right here for me personally. The Last of Us videos. So playing The Last of Us for the first time, not a lot of people saw it, so it's not about the views. So June 15th. So the thing with The Last of Us, I knew The Last of Us Part 2 was coming out. I had never played The Last of Us, but I just felt like The Last of Us Part 2 was going to be an important game in general, but also just like I thought I was going to enjoy that. It was like the first big game of the year, and I felt like I need to talk about a big game of 2020 just to like, and I always had in my mind I was going to do this in-depth kind of, just a deeper video, a longer video, but I had to play The Last of Us, the first one, before that, of course, and so it set up perfectly. I could do videos on that, and I didn't really know how to do the format of playing a game for the first time when it's not a walkthrough, because I don't think a walkthrough with no face cam would be very interesting. So I did the best I could with it. I think I chose terrible songs for it. The videos are not that great, but that's exactly why it was so important to me. I learned so much in those 5 videos, like the whole Last of Us for the first time videos. There's not a huge upgrade or a huge difference from like the first one to the 5th one, but in that week, because that was the big thing, I did them all each day of the week. I'm pretty sure Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is the 15th. I'm just gonna go to the last one to see if I did do that. So the last one was on the 19th. Yep. So 5 videos in 5 days, which I had never gotten anywhere close to before. I'd taken all kinds of time off, and I had never had any kind of consistency. And so I can leave it. I'm just gonna leave this here now, because now you can see the last chunk of videos I've done since then, and all in the span of 2 months, where it really started to come together for me. I started to see a vision. I felt like I just had a better idea of what I wanted to do, and by this point I learned a lot, so the videos were also just better quality. They're still not incredible, but it took those 5 Last of Us, I think, videos to really, for me to believe that I could do these videos consistently and maybe even do them pretty decently. The Last of Us Part 2 in-depth review is not one of my favorites either, because that was still in that same, I learned a lot from The Last of Us playing for the first time The Last of Us videos, but I didn't really put a lot of that into the Part 2 video, because at that point I was still just so still like taking all that information in from the videos I made, and I hadn't really watched them back too much. But where it really started, I believe, is with the Gardens Between. So the Gardens Between review, again, none of these have been seen by a ton of people, but this on July 3rd, 2020, something about like where just starting with this one is when I felt like, okay, now I'm really ready to start something, a new like phase, a new era of this channel, of these kinds of videos. The thumbnails are kind of still always been kind of boring. I started to be more creative with it recently, but for that one it's just like, all right, put up the Gardens Between, just basic cover art, focus on better quality of the audio quality, and not so much, I don't know, it was very basic. It's not like I didn't do crazy differences between that and the stuff I was doing earlier, but it just had a different outlook on it. I had a different way of scripted stuff. I tried to really be concise and have like full-on bullet points of what I wanted to talk about and all that, instead of just being all over the place. And when you don't really know what you're gonna say, like I wouldn't have it down word for word, but I would have it to the point where I knew where I was going from point A to point B to point C, where before it was just like, all right, I'm talking about this game, stream of consciousness, like just see where it goes. And that's so much harder. I mean, I remember like the first, like let's say The Last of Us Part 2 in depth is 36 minutes long. I was probably talking for like an hour and a half, and I had to edit all that down to 36 minutes. I mean, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of work to do that. And then when getting to the new ones, the Gardens Between, Firewatch, all these videos from that point onwards, it was so much easier just to like know where I was going, know what I was talking about. And I was able to cut that down from like when I would be talking at least like 30-40 minutes plus every single time, and trying to edit that down to a normal size video, I was now talking like 20 minutes, sometimes even 15 minutes. And now like recently I've been able to do some in less than 10 minutes and just cut that down to 4 or 5 minutes. And it cuts out so much of that editing time. Just having that changed a lot of the whole thing. It just made me be able to do it consistently, because it wasn't taking out so much of my time and energy, and it was a real struggle to try and get to this point. And so to get there was huge, and I think that shows in more so the Firewatch review. I think that one, it got a lot of a boost. These videos here got a boost from, that's right when Erica started to blow up a little bit, and so Firewatch got pretty good amount of views. Star Wars actually is getting more reviews like recently than it did back then. That's there's not so much to say after all this. So I was at this point now looking at everything in terms of like tens. So in case you didn't even, if you don't, it's not that important, but in case you didn't notice it, like I said, the favorite games of the decade was my 10th video, and I didn't think of it at the time because it was so early, but I'm like, all right, that's kind of a big video. And then it just so happened to line up that my 20th video is The Last of Us Part 2 in-depth review, kind of a bigger video for me. 30th video after all these, Night Call, SpongeBob, all these, when I was this is when I was finally trying to get like into a groove, and I felt like I did. And so I went, all right, 30th video, did the Ghost of Tsushima video, which I think still is one of the ones I put the most effort into, and tried a different style with it. And I'm proud of this one too. I think this one's pretty good. 100 views, not too bad. It's the views I'm rarely like really looking at. They catch the algorithm or they don't. And I would hope that just the people that subscribe like them more than anything else. And so I thought it was a really cool video. Grounded, that one kind of caught, like, when it first came out, some people started watching it because I'm sure they searching for the game. And then the Fall Guys one, again, I did this kind of trying to do it in a more discussion type style rather than just a review, because I think that can add something that the reviews just, they don't really in. You can do a little more creativity with them. I don't know, maybe it's kind of the same thing. And I think this one's actually one of my better videos. I'm not too sure if anybody else thinks that, but I do like that one quite a bit. But I was saying the 10s, right? So this was my 30th, and then my 40th video, Power of Control. I was trying to go for like big videos on 10, 20, 30, 40, so hopefully there'll be another one on 50. But aside from that, I was also looking for like an aesthetic of like the 10 videos, or like the videos in between the big ones. So in between Power of Control and Tsushima, I kind of had like this colorful, dreamy type of thing going on. It just happened to be that way, but also I was gravitating towards stuff like that. I don't know why I thought that. I kind of feel like there's that same kind of thing here with between Tsushima and Last of Us Part 2, that I kind of, these are all kind of random games that I just felt like playing, but they do kind of have a certain style to them. And now after Control, I felt like there's another kind of, there's a red theme, but also just a slightly darker a mood to them, and not so, like I said, colorful and very, just the alto collection. All these thumbnails kind of look like they pop a little bit. And now I was going for a little bit of a darker mood after Power of Control. She Sees Red, and Superliminal, Planet of the Apes, and I have one that should be going up actually right now. Just in general, I think these videos now have more of a vision, have more of a thought out goal, and like I know what I'm doing beforehand. I know what I'm gonna do beforehand, whereas before, way back then, it was just kind of throw it all together and hope for the best. Just spill out all these words and not really know what the outcome was gonna be. And I guess I didn't really talk about like what's coming up with the channel, what's coming up after this, as the kind of sort of channel update part of this video. I guess it's more of like a channel recap of the last year more than anything. But just to end this off and to let you know what's coming up soon, just in case you're curious or interested or whatever, into the future, I have some plans, like, so I don't mind saying what they are, but I want to keep on this schedule of every other day type of thing going on. So right now I feel like it's been a really good steady progression of consistency to the point now where it's kind of every other day or maybe every third day a video comes out. And so I want to keep that up for as long as I can, really. And so I have another big video planned for 50. This one is 45. So 45 videos in a year. I don't think that's enough. I would love to make more this upcoming year, this from now to next September 2nd. Who knows how many I'll have then. But I do have big plans for more so down the road, and I don't want to talk about them because it's like so far away. I'm looking into like almost 2021 at this point, but we'll see what happens until then. So a few specifics, I guess, that I could say in case, again, if you are curious. I have a video I'm gonna make on games that are based on movies. I want that to be number 50, where it'll be kind of I don't know if it'll be super long, but it'll just be kind of a more interesting discussion topic of what happened to them. They don't make a lot of these games based on movies anymore, and so that I think that'll be a fun one. For number 60, there's two games that have always been kind of linked together for me. I don't think they are really for anybody. I don't know why they would be, but Control and Prey for me are two games that I always like. They're linked. I don't know why. Maybe I got them at a similar time, but I don't think that's possible because Prey came out like 2 years earlier. But anyway, those two have just been linked for me for a while, and I want to do kind of, there was number 40 for Control, so I want to kind of have the duality of that to where it's number 60 for Prey. So when you look back, when there's hopefully 100 videos out, it'll be 40 and 60. It's not very interesting, I'm sure, to people. Numbers are a big deal to me. And so I do want to keep up with that, big videos every 10, and this one's number 45, so maybe there'll be like more important videos on every 5th video too, or all the 5s, 55, 65. We'll see what happens. That's really all I got for this one. Definitely a bit of a different style for the videos I've been making. I don't have any that are like this kind of format They're all about specific games, and so I would love to do more like this, but I don't know when the opportunity would arise for that. And I do really want to get this video out tonight if I can. If not, it'll be up tomorrow. 1 year and 1 day later, it doesn't really matter. Numbers are important to me, but at the end of the day, it's still just a video. It's still I'm recording this on the 1 year anniversary, so that's what's really important. So yeah, aside from that, thank you all so much for watching, for listening, for subscribing, whatever. It really does mean a lot to me, and I'll never be able to say thank you enough. It's hopefully this is just the beginning, you know. I hope this keeps going, keeps being a fun adventure, and who knows where we'll be a year from now, the 2 year anniversary. Hopefully I'll be doing another video like this. And from the very beginning, 2 years, 45 videos in 1 year. I'm not gonna make any promises, not gonna make any huge plans, but I would love to see that definitely over 100 for after year 2. But we'll see then. I don't want to talk a big game. It's better just to do the videos and just see what happens, and not make any big promises that you can't keep. But yeah, so aside from that, hope you're all having a great day out there, and I hope you're just doing well. And everyone, you know, your friends, family, I hope everyone's just doing great right now. And you know, it's kind of a tough time, tough year, but hopefully we'll all just power through and get to 2021. Hopefully things will start to take a turn for the better. And yeah, so alright, so that's definitely it. I'm gonna end this now. Take care, everybody. Have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one.